On Sunday, we're going to hear about Simon Peter and the sons of Zebedee receiving the call from Jesus to be fishers of men, to come follow him, to leave their nets behind, and to go and fish, not for fish, but for people, to catch them with the gospel, and bring them to the rest that Jesus gives to them. Now, when we think about God's call to us, very often in our culture, in modern American Christianity, we look inside to try and determine where God is calling us. But that's not a safe place to be looking, to find out what God is calling me to do, where is he calling me to go. When Jesus called Simon Peter and the sons of Zebedee, he used his mouth and he beat on their eardrums. The call came from outside of them, not from inside. It came from the outside. God likes to call us from the outside. He likes to draw our attention not in to try to find out where he wants us to go, what he wants us to do. He wants us to look out for our call. And for all of us, he has given us this big general call that covers everything, everything specific that we might be called to do. In our vocations, we are called to love our neighbor. In some cases, that neighbor might be our children, in which case I would be called to be a father. And so I need to love my child. In other cases, we might have an enemy. And so we're called to be patient, to bless those who persecute us, bless and not curse, to love our enemy. But in all things, all of the callings that we have in life, we are called to love our neighbor. So if we're directed to love our neighbor, we're not directed to look inside for what we're called to do, where we're called to go. We're directed outside. We're directed to the faces that we see around us, to the people that are there in our lives. We don't have to wonder, what does God want me to do? Where is he calling me to go? Just look. See the people around you and love them. Love them in the way that your relationship with them determines. Are they, if it's your wife, you love them as a husband should love his wife. If it's the neighbor across the backyard fence, you love him as a neighbor. You love the people that God has put in your lives, even and especially the ones that you don't particularly like your enemies. These especially are the ones where we get to shine as Christians, when you have someone who hates you, who is persecuting you, who has sinned directly against you. This is where you get to shine and love in that undeserved love kind of way, in that gracious way. Jesus says in the scriptures, if you love those who love you, if you do good to those who do good to you, what is that? You know, even pagans do that. Big deal if you love your children. Of course you do. But do you love your enemy? Jesus says, but I tell you, love your enemy. Do good to those who harm you. We are called to love the people around us. And the kind of relationship that we have will determine how we should love them in an appropriate way. And that's the call that God gives to us. Those are our vocations. And they're found in the people outside of us. So don't look in to wonder what God wants you to do. Look outside, see the people around you, and do this thing that God has called us to do. Love your neighbor. May God's peace be with you today.